Hello and welcome to the Liz Experiment YouTube channel. This is the channel where I record field notes from my journey towards architecting my best life. I am recording to you today. I'm never going to get that right. I'm recording today from East Hartford, Connecticut, from the apartment of my former roommate, best friend, pretty much my brother. And I'm here in East Hartford because we spent the weekend, the end of last week and the weekend celebrating his 40th birthday and seeing our other family and having just great times with them. And I'm then spending the rest of the week here just hanging out with a great friend and remembering what it was like to live in Connecticut. That's actually something you may not know about me. I went to college at the University of Connecticut, and so I graduated in December of 2003. And from there, I lived in outside of Hartford and worked in Hartford for a couple of years. So I'm basically back in my own stomping grounds, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in a little bit. So let's dive into what did I learn this week. It's a long week. It was a long week. Let's just say that. So the first thing I learned is that I'm not too old for a birthday extravaganza. We stayed out in New York until the wee hours of the morning on Thursday night. And then we drove up to Providence, Rhode Island, which is an amazingly awesome city. Like if you get the chance, I would visit Providence. We happened to be there for their Providence Fest, PVD Fest, and it was just incredible, like incredibly diverse. Everybody was out in the streets just enjoying each other. There wasn't any violence. There wasn't any crime. It was just people having fun together. And it was free. It was cool. I really, really highly recommend going there. So we did that until the early hours of the morning on Friday night. And then Saturday, we took a train to Boston to see a Red Sox game and got home late that night. Sunday, we went to Worcester, Massachusetts and had dinner with family. So it's been a heck of a week, but you know what? I'm feeling good. I'm feeling much better than last week. So despite my 37 years, I am not too old to have a birthday extravaganza. One other thing I learned was how much I love sports. And I haven't purposely been neglecting sports. When I lived in New York, I lived in Manhattan. Let me back up. I lived in Connecticut and went to school here, and then I lived in San Antonio, Texas for three or 4 years. And then I moved to Manhattan for about 10 years. And when I was in Manhattan, I played a lot of sports. I was on a co-ed football team. I was on several basketball teams. I was always doing something. And then I ended up stopping. It was something I was on a crappy basketball team with a bunch of not very nice girls, and I decided not to play anymore. And I haven't really played basketball since then, even though it's one of the loves of my life. So this week, I woke up with a feeling like I just need to play sports again. And so Chloe, who's the friend I'm staying with, and I went and played basketball and ended up playing some tennis. And we have activities. We went for a hike yesterday. Today it's raining. I don't know if you can hear the rain in the background, but we're going to go play pool. We're going to do some bowling. And so I'm trying to get back into those activities and just remembering how much I love them. The other thing that I learned was, and this is kind of a pretty big shift from what I was just talking about, but I've been thinking about and I've learned that I don't need to be at the beck and call of my clients and my work when I'm not getting paid and I'm not on a specific project. And so that goes along with another learning, which is my realization that I don't think I want to work more than like 4 hours a day. Further, I don't think many people work 4 hours a day. You may be at work for 8 to 10 hours a day, but how much of that time is in meetings and in conversations, and how much of it is actually heads down work? So I've been thinking a lot about that and learning a lot about that this week. I've also been learning that my siblings and I can actually talk to each other. And I'll talk more about that in the what I'm working on section. And finally, I learned that I really, really enjoy being compassionate and helpful as a friend versus being the person who's solving a problem, just to kind of push the problem aside and get it out of the way. So I'll talk about that in a second too. So let's get to it. What have I been working on this week? The first thing is I've been working on being present, calm, and very grateful during these birthday extravaganza, family and friend time. I've been listening, for example, when we went out to dinner on Sunday, we went out with Chloe and our brother Curtis and his wife Eileen and their two amazing children, my niece and nephew, Ray and Zwane. And I just really worked on, and it wasn't work, that's the thing, right? But it was more just being present and grateful and just settled in the love and energy of others. And it sounds like it's easy, and in reality it is, but I think oftentimes, especially high anxiety people, we think about what's next, where are we going next. So I really worked on, and that's just one example, like in each event I did, just being there and enjoying it, because otherwise, what is it for? um, Another example of that, when I was at PVD Fest, at Providence Fest, and we were listening to a salsa band, I was just listening. I didn't understand anything that they were saying, but the music was awesome and everybody was dancing, and I just enjoyed being in that energy. So definitely working on that this week, and we'll continue to work on that as I go throughout this whole wacky journey. Um, the second thing I was working on was healing my old and broken body. As much as I love playing basketball and the tennis, which I don't know how to play tennis, by the way, so my arm is killing me. It's killing me. Um, so I've really been working on taking a lot of Tylenol and stretching and trying to heal my not used to sport body. So we'll see how that goes. Um, in regards to not being at the beck and call of my clients and my work, I've been working on not responding to client emails right away, giving myself time and space. I'm not on a paid project with any clients right now, so there's no rush, and I can set the pace of things. In addition to that, working on the not wanting to work more than 4 hours a week. I've really been listening to a lot of podcasts and TED Talks. I'll provide a link to some of them in the description area on how to do that, how to accomplish that. I'm also part of a mastermind group with several other women who are thinking along these same lines, and so we're basically supporting each other through it. Um, and I should say, it's not about not working just to not work. It's about not working because there are other things in life that are as important, and you can get a good amount of work done if you're effective with your time instead of kind of wasting it in meaningless meetings and discussions. So don't think that I'm just not wanting to work, but you know what? I don't want to work. Who the hell wants to work, really? Come on, let's be honest with each other. um, the third thing I was working on in regards to my siblings was, and just in general, I guess, no, I guess it was my siblings, was staying in touch with them. So I have a brother who, I think I mentioned him before. So he had surgery this week on his shoulder, and we created a group chat message, which we SMS or text message, which we haven't had before, with myself, my brother, both my brothers, and my sister-in-law. And we're actually staying in touch regarding how is my brother's surgery doing? How is my sister-in-law's pregnancy going? Hopefully she has the baby this week. They're pretty sure she'll have the baby this week. And that's been really cool. It's been really cool to work on engaging with these people whom I love immensely. And it's not like we weren't in touch because we didn't like each other or anything like that. It just didn't happen that way. It was just one of those types of family situations where talking to each other may seem weak or too emotional or, I don't know, not important enough. But we're moving beyond that, it feels like, which is very cool. And I look forward to seeing where that goes. The big thing I've been working on this week is I'm staying in a city that basically used to be my home. And I used to think I was going to build a home here. I had a full time job when I lived here. I saw other people's lives settling down, getting married, having kids. I saw myself doing that here. So I'm coming back to this area, not having a full time job, not anywhere close to being on that path, living with a roommate who I lived with while I was in that old life. And it's just been trying to sit with those emotions and feelings and be okay with them and not be ashamed by them. Like, not the feelings, but being ashamed by where I'm at. Um, it's a lot of doubts. I have a lot of doubts about what I'm doing. I do not know what I'm doing. It makes me incredibly happy to do, but I don't have a blueprint for this. Nobody else is in my life is doing this. If you know somebody else doing this, let me know. I would like to talk to them. Um, so when I come back to these old energy patterns, I'm like, oh man, I probably should have stayed here. I could be living in that nice big house, making whatever salary and getting a paycheck every week and not worrying about money. But I've been working on, sitting with that. That's a real thought and a real feeling, but not letting it own me and not letting it take control of me. Um, and the last thing I've been working on in regards to being a compassionate friend is my dear friend had an incident where she had to leave vacation early. Her and her husband had to go home early because their daughter was sick. Um, well, no, it wasn't because their daughter was sick, because they had some family drama happening with their moms and all that sort of stuff. And usually I would try to be the solver of her problem because I wouldn't want to feel my friend's pain. I wouldn't want to dive in and go there with her. But instead, I decided to be brave and dive in and feel the pain and feel her pain and just be compassionate and passionate compassionate friend and loving and soften and just show her love. And that was a really rewarding practice that I hope to keep up. So I think that's it for this week. Well, that's it for this week. You're not getting any more out of me, I will be back next week I think I'll be back in my hometown next week. So that should be awesome. What else? Oh, I've been getting a lot of feedback from people who have been viewing these videos, and I really, really hope to hear more from you guys. What do you like? What do you not like? What could be better? What could I change? Should I not change? What do you want to hear more about? What kind of topics are interesting to you? This very much helps me to figure out, I don't know, I guess just what is helpful for helping people to live their best life, because that's my goal with this channel. So if you have any feedback, please let me know in the comments. And until next week, thanks for watching.